Hello,
Hello!
and
And
welcome
to Explaining to My
your
Roommate. Do you think we're ever gonna get that?
No,
Uh,
um,
my name is Reagan,
I'm Easton, and
and
we're
we're
roommates.
roommates. Hey, we got that
We
one.
got that part.
Good for us.
So this episode, I am once again boring everyone with Dragon Age lore.
Are you having fun?
I am having fun. I love talking about Dragon Age.
Then it doesn't matter what people think.
It's my favorite thing in the whole world.
I
Well,
know. Zevran.
some of my Zevran pictures have fallen off.
Oh no.
Not that anyone listening to this can see, but I have many pictures of Zevran just printed out on printer paper and taped on my wall. I printed out more recently. I haven't cut them out yet.
Maybe we should go get little frames so they look a little bit
God,
nicer.
that'd be so cute. What? A fun story is when I went to Vegas with my family, I put a picture of Zevran in my suitcase so that when I would open it, I would see him. But then as we were getting ready to leave, I thought about the TSA agents and I took the picture out. But then I really regretted that and I really wanted Zevran in my suitcase.
Hey, I keep a photo card in my wallet at all times. Right now, I think it's Jin. I don't have my wallet on me, but
I do have a Zevran keychain. Two of them. One that I made and one that I bought. Anyway, this episode, I will be talking about the 3 main relevant religions in Dragon Age. I thought about talking about like full-on histories, and then I realized that maybe that was a little too much. Maybe full histories of countries was a little in depth. So we'll be talking about Andrasteism, the Dalish elves creators, and the Dwarven worshipping of the stone.
Dalish elves creators, and what was the last one?
The dwarves in the stone, and their ancestors, I guess. But we'll get to that. So we're going to start off with Andrasteism. So Andraste is Jesus. Let's make that one thing very clear.
Okay.
So a little bit of like background on her like life. She was born as a slave in the Tevinter Imperium, but she was actually born in Denerim, the capital of Ferelden, where the final battle took place. From our game that we talked about. The final battle in Dragon Age Origins takes place in Denerim. So she was born to the Alamari tribes, which are like tribes in Ferelden, before the unification and before Ferelden became a country itself. She eventually married this guy called Malifrath, I think is it, and unified the Alamari border. She had 3 stepsons and 2 daughters. As far as we know, there are no descendants of Andraste. Both of her daughters died before they could have children.
Okay, I was about to say, how do you have no...
Both of her daughters died.
Got it.
Well, one of them for sure died, and the other just kind of disappeared, and there's no, like, confirmed descendants of her. Anyway, when she was young, she had a sister who died in like a crazy accident, and this is when Andraste starts seeing some weird stuff. She has visions of this person called the Maker from a very young age, and she was raised in the Alamari tradition, which is like the mountain spirits, the wind spirits, so she starts to see these visions of like this all-powerful Maker.
I really hope you can't hear me swallowing.
It's okay. So eventually she is part of a rebellion against the Tevinter Empire, and she starts to see herself as like a prophet of the Maker. And it's revealed to her that the Maker created the world but turned his back on it when the worship of the old gods began. And so he was like, "You're worshiping these weird dragon things? No. Thumbs down, I'm the Maker." And she tries to convince him to come back to his people and forgive them. And this is when she starts being seen as like the bride of the Maker. I forgot to mention that she was born the same year the First Blight ended.
Ooh.
That's important for my favorite theory in all of Dragon Age. for my favorite theory. So she was born the same year the first blight ended. So the blights are still happening. The blights are happening throughout like all of this. And she's involved in the rebellion. She has this elven friend named, if I can find his name, it starts with an S. Oh, Shareth. Oh, Sharthen. And he and her husband and a few other like disciples are all, believing in the Maker and spreading the word of the Maker until her dumb husband Malarath gets jealous.
Oh.
And of the Maker.
Damn.
And the Alamari tribes are rebelling against Tevinter. They're trying, and Malarath believes that they overextended themselves. And as a way to like get peace, he gives his wife, the prophet of the Maker, to the Tevinter Imperium. And guess what? They burn her at the stake because she was a heretic to them. So after her death, her disciples take her ashes and hide them in the Frostback Mountains, which is where we find them in Dragon Age Origins when we had to cure Arl Eamon. Was it Hysarian? There was the guy who killed her regretted it. I'm pretty sure it was Hysarian. It might have been someone else though. Anyway, so her visions of the Maker revealed that he was like the one true creator. A lot of her visions became part of the Chant of Light. There's one legend about her crying a lot.
Me.
Relatable.
Felt.
So to kind of just quote the wiki, she was crying because like her people were enslaved and her husband like collected her tears. And on the 13th night, the Maker appeared to her. But this legend is not a part of the Chant of Light. It's just kind of a fun little story. So there are two different chantries. There's the Orlesian chantry and the Imperial chantry, because eventually the Tevinter Imperium stopped worshiping the old gods and they started believing in the Maker. The split between the Imperial chantry and the Orlesian chantry is basically the same as Martin Luther going up and nailing that sign to that church. Is that a reference that you understand? No. You're the one who grew up religious, not me.
Martin Luther?
The guy, Protestants versus Catholics. This. You're the one who grew up religious.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Anyway.
But religious trauma means I forgot it all.
Okay. Well. Anyway.
I can quote the Bible.
The main difference is that the Orlesian chantry believes that Andraste was a prophet of the Maker, whereas the Imperial chantry believes that she was a powerful mage who was able to speak to like the spirit of the Maker, essentially. And they also like to frequently depict her as like more of a warrior. The main difference now, well, the main difference in leadership is that the Orlesian chantry has the Divine, who is a woman, and up until potentially the end of Dragon Age Inquisition, never a mage. Potentially. Whereas the Imperial chantry, the Black Divine, as he is called in the South, is always a man and a mage, and generally a very powerful mage. And so Andrasteism is the main dominant religion throughout all of Thedas. There's chantries everywhere. Yeah, it's basically Christianity.
Got it.
The chantry also controls the circles of Magi, which, they control the Templars, which controls the circles of Magi, which control the mages. They keep a tight leash on those mages.
Got it.
So, yeah, really fucked up of Malarath. I hate him. In Dragon Age Origins, when you go to the Temple of Sacred Ashes, you get to, like, you have to go through these trials to be worthy of the ashes. We talked about this. I didn't go into
that's the one
where you have to get naked.
No, I don't remember. Wait. I was thinking of the one where with Zevran had to talk about.
Oh, talk about the girlfriend that he killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the same thing.
Oh, okay,
That
cool.
was one of the...
Cool.
That is the same trial. Have I talked about that on this podcast, or did I just talk about Zevran so much that you
No, you
just...
talked about the trials.
Okay. In one of them, you like have to solve like 8 riddles, and the riddles are presented by people within Andraste's life, and they like tell a story. And one of them's her mother, and it's like, my daughter, this something something. What am I? You know.
Yeah.
They're really interesting. Malarath fucking cries because he's like, I betrayed my wife. He's like, shut up, dude.
He's the guy that was married to Andraste.
Yeah,
right?
in like life. The Orlesian Chantry is the one that controls most things. The Imperial Chantry basically only exists in Tevinter. The Orlesian Chantry was founded by the first emperor of Orlais, Cordelius Draken. We'll talk about him probably eventually. The Blights really helped cement the Chantry as like important. Yeah, so most people, including many elves, believe in the Maker. I don't really know. That's kind of it. I don't really know where to end. Like, that's
kind of it.
That's kind of it. I mean, it's, Golden City Maker. My computer is being really funky, and I accidentally closed the next tab that I need.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Anyway, on to the Dalish elves. So, long ago, there was Arlathan, and before the humans came, there was the elves above ground and the dwarves underground, and then the humans showed up and ruined everything. It's believed by many elves that they used to live for centuries before humans came and pushed them out of Arlathan. Let's see. Which was the Tevinter Imperium. That was the start of the Tevinter Imperium. See, I can't
do humans just ruin everything?
Yeah, basically. All the time.
Got it.
So eventually, after like the fall of Arlathan, many elves were taken into slavery, by like Tevinter blood magic. Eventually they found a new homeland in the Dales, but that also got destroyed.
No.
That oh yeah, it was Emperor Draken. He developed relationships with the Dales, and then yeah, it's a combination of the Second Blight and an exalted march by the Orlesian Empire. You know, like the Crusades?
Maybe.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. Well, anyway, both of their homelands were destroyed, and they haven't had another one since.
Okay.
In recent history, elves are divided into like 2 categories: the city elves and the Dalish elves. The city elves usually believe in the Maker, although they try to hold on to some of their history. And then the Dalish elves worship what little of their history that they can find, and that involves their gods. Anyway, there are 7 gods, right? 8. Damn. Okay. Anyway, so the 8, the Dalish worship what they can find of their history and their culture, and that includes the 8, kind of 9, kind of 11 gods.
Got it.
So the main pantheon is Elgradon, the god of vengeance. That's why I needed it. I didn't I know all their names, just not what they do. Mythal, the great protector. Mythal is like super important. Falandin, who like guides the dead. Durthamin, who keeps the secrets. And Drool, goddess of the hunt. Salace, the hearthkeeper, and June, the god of craft, and Gillenon, the mother of the Hala. So those are their 8 gods. But then there's also the Forgotten Ones, which are seen as like evil gods. There's 3 or 4 known forgotten gods. Forgotten Ones. They're forgotten gods, but they're called the Forgotten Ones. They're referenced throughout the mythology as like being these evil guys who want to destroy the elves. Um, and then there's one more. Fen'Harel, the Dread Wolf, who was neither one of the gods of the elves, which was neither a creator nor a forgotten one. He was friends to both and betrayed both and
Damn.
locked all of them away. So the Dalish elves pretty much greatly fear Fen'Harel,
Yeah.
because he betrayed all of their gods, including the evil ones. But now their gods are gone, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
So Elgar'nan and Mythal were like married, and they had Falandin and Dirthamin, twins, and Andruil and Selace and June. Gillenon is the one that's different.
Got
I
it.
just had to get to the one that's different. Those ones are all considered to be either the children of Mythal and Elgar'nan, or also some of them are kind of like married to each other. It's like Greek gods,
Yeah.
like Selace and June are like married. June is also described as a brother to Andruil. Gillenon, though, has a very interesting creation myth where, like, she was made a god by Andruil, and she created all these sea monsters, or sea monsters and monsters on the land, and the Hala, which are important. They're like deer, but they're also way cooler than deer. They're these like giant white deer. If you look at any pictures of elves in Dragon Age, they have like these tattoos on their face. That's called Valisleen. It's made of their blood.
Oh.
It's called blood writing. We find that out in Dragon Age 2, I think, is when it's mentioned. But as is in the last episode, I'm allowed to say anything that would be common knowledge.
Got it.
At the time of the first games. So the Dalish elves don't really know a lot about their history. They're kind of just guessing a lot of the time because they lost so much. The Dalish believe in magic differently than the humans. The humans believe that like magic is an evil weapon, maybe not evil, but like a weapon, in that all spirits and demons are inherently evil. Whereas the Dalish elves are more like spirits are people just like us. Like there are evil ones, there are good ones. And they have a more like nature approach to magic. Like they just see it as part of the world rather than something that needs to be controlled. There's the Alluvians, which are these mirrors with magic. That's important, kind of. If in the Dalish elf origin, your friend touches an Alluvian and he gets like super killed.
Oh,
so
okay.
I mean, he doesn't die. He gets infected with the blight. Yeah, real sad.
Got it.
Tamlin, real sad.
Kind of sad.
I know. He doesn't die. He gets infected with the blight, and then he becomes a ghoul, and then you have to kill him.
Oh no!
It's really like, and it happens like late in the game. He comes back late game, and you're like,
oh no!
He's like, bruh,
I forgot about you.
He literally. Anyway, so that's the Elven pantheon. We learn a lot more about them, and they become a lot more relevant in later games. But in this case, they're gods.
They're gods.
Anyway, Dwarven history. This one is we kind of very similar to the elves. These guys lost everything. They lost it during the first blight, when their entire empire was destroyed, and eventually they were reduced down to basically just Orzammar, just the city of Orzammar. And secretly another city, but not even Orzammar knows about that. At early in the Dragon Age, as in the year within the game Dragon.
Got it. Okay.
Or within the
fifth blight?
No. Within the Ninth Age, also known as the Dragon Age, Kal Shirak was discovered, but they had no relationship with Orzammar. They were completely cut off from each other. Anyway, the dwarves worship the stone. They believe it like sings to them, but that's the lyrium. So they worship the stone, and they believe that they like came from it, like they just kind of appeared and came from the stone. They live completely underground, obviously. And they believe that the stone like holds memories. They also worship their ancestors. They believe that their ancestors returned to the stone, and therefore their ancestors' memories are like in the stone. I'm not as familiar with the Dwarven histories as I am the other two, so this is it's okay. No one's gonna listen to this. They have paragons, which are like the greatest of their ancestors, who like are venerated much more than like the regular ancestors. Dwarves are the only people who can like safely handle raw lyrium because they're immune to it. They don't have magic. Dwarves don't have magic. They also don't have dreams because dreams and magic are very much connected in the Dragon Age universe. And lyrium is like raw magic that is in the world. It's like a rock that is just all magic.
Got it.
And the dwarves are the only ones able to safely handle it raw. Okay. There are legends of these beings called Titans. But the memories in the Shaperit, the keeper of the memories, don't really know much about that.
Got it.
You don't really know. I mean, that's kind of the main thing. They worship the stone.
The stone. There are possibly ancestors in the stone. Well, they're memories.
Yeah. And I'm like, they're born from it. They serve it. They feel the impact of it in their lives. Blah, blah. I guess we could talk about like the caste system also, because that's like political. Dwarves, you are born into the same caste as your same gender parent. So if your mom was a minor, you're a minor. You're a girl.
Got it.
If you're a boy and your dad was a warrior, you're a warrior. There are also the casteless who don't have a caste and they have brands on their face. They get branded.
Got it.
And they are essentially like the homeless population, and they're treated quite terribly. Basically, the only way for a casteless person to make their way is through crime, or the Dwarven commoner's sister. So if you're a Dwarven commoner in the game, you're casteless, and your sister has a baby with the prince, and the baby is a son, and now she's living the good life.
Got it.
So like, there are ways to kind of improve your life, but it's not great.
Not great.
And if you leave and you go to the surface, you lose your caste. They say.
Oh, got it.
They say no more for you. It's just really like, there's not a lot to say because it's just the remnants of like a once really great empire, and so much is like lost. At least with the Dalish, they've kind of developed a new culture, whereas the dwarves just want to stick. They refuse to change, and that's why I choose Balon. Balon is a character in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I choose Balon because he's willing to open Orzamar's doors and allow change. Like, the elves are trying to get back to their history. The Dalish elves cling to their history, but they're more willing to be flexible than the dwarves, who just refuse to do anything. Just fighting the blight forever. Forever and ever and ever. Anyway, now that I've poorly explained. Question time. Okay.
I'm gonna make a little jingle to put right there.
You should. That'd be cute. Where was Andraste born?
Dinner room.
Yep. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Who is the evil, well, not evil, who is the Dalish god that betrayed both the Forgotten Ones and the Creators?
Finarel?
Close enough.
Fenharel.
Close enough.
The only thing I could think of was fentanyl and fennel.
You know, I guess better than me thinking of an entirely different character from Dragon Age. I keep wanting to say Felason because I've been thinking about him a lot. He's a character in Dragon Age Inquisition. He's only there for like 2 minutes.
Damn.
But I'd be thinking about him all the time.
Got it.
What is lyrium?
It's raw. They're rocks. That is raw magic.
Yep. There's probably more to lyrium that I'm just forgetting in this moment, but for our purposes, you know. How did Andraste die?
Oh, her husband sold her. Well, gave her to
like sold her out.
To I don't remember who, but she got burned at the stake.
Yeah, she did. I also don't remember who, because there was this one guy who killed her and then regretted it and then brought Andrasteism to Tevinter.
Got it.
But I forgot his name, so.
I wrote husband big jelly of maker.
So true. Okay. What's the difference between Dalish beliefs about spirits and like Andrasteism's belief about spirits?
Okay. Wait, say the question again.
What's the difference between Dalish beliefs about spirits and like general human beliefs about spirits and demons?
I don't know.
It's okay. In like Andrasteism in the Chantry, spirits are believed to be like universally evil, bad, whereas the Dalish are like they're just people.
They're just people. I wrote I wrote magic equals evil, human, magic equals spirited people like us. Maybe I was using it. Maybe it wasn't magic. Maybe it was a different word I was supposed to be writing.
It's okay. And then, so you got 4 out of 5.
Yes! And I feel like that's the best I've ever done.
You got 5 out of 5 last time.
Oh my god! Yeah. Slayed last round.
And then I'm introducing a new section called Theory Time, where I talk about my favorite theory. I just forgot to mention it earlier. My favorite theory in all of Dragon Age is that Andraste was an old god baby, the same way that we can have an old god baby at the end of Origins, where like our child, we find out his name's Kieran. He shows up later.
Got it.
Kieran has the soul of Earthemiel. I believe personally that Andraste has the soul of Dumont. And that's why she was being so weird all the time.
Got it. Dude.
Because she was definitely a mage. Like, all of the stories, she was definitely a mage.
It's like body snatchers.
I know.
That's actually really funny, which actually is another topic I can talk about. Because I watched so many of those like very teenage, like the Vampire Diaries, Pretty Little Liars. I watched all of those. Okay. That reminds me of in the originals, which is a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries, they just magically put one person into another person.
Well, I mean, Kieran has his own personality. It's just like the powerful soul of Earthemiel.
Got it.
That's in him. He has weird dreams, which Andraste also had weird dreams. I do believe that I watched a YouTube video that low-key disproved the theory, because like Andraste was born in Denerim, and I don't think Dumont was slayed there. But Morrigan says that when she's pregnant with Kieran, she says that Earthemiel's soul will seek out the child while it's in her. Like, you don't have to bring Morgan with you to the final battle. Even if you leave her behind, because you can only have 3 companions with you. You can't bring everyone. Even if you leave her behind, she'll still have Kieran. She'll still have the old god baby. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe it doesn't matter, you know? Anyway, I just think it's fun. I'm going to keep believing it.
Okay.
And that's it for Theory Corner, also known as Things I Forgot to Say.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Explaining to My Roommate. Next week is my episode. I think next week will be one of my series called, I'm either going to do start explaining individual boys members of BTS, or B, sports time, which will be me explaining sports to Easton.
I don't know anything about that,
so we'll see what happens. Really exciting.
And for the record, this is end of part 1 of the Dragon Age series. I'll find something more interesting to talk about.
I want to hear about YouTube drama.
Oh, well, maybe.
Anyways,
right, bye.
Bye.